Let's try this again. Democracy 3 on the PC. Playing on my tablet. Single core. What do you call it? 1.13, 1.33 gigahertz single core processor here. And let's see, we got the Dems and power. Remember, this is 2013. Got the Republicans and the opposition. Okay, so I'm going to try and replay the game that I remember how to play when I first bought this game 3 years ago. So back then, what was it? You had the Democratic Party in power. You had the Republicans, who were the opposition party. And in this game, I don't think it matters if the Congress is split. We'll see if that makes a difference later. Welcome to Democracy 3. Begin term of office. From here, you can survey the current state of our country. It may look complex, but all the different components work in very similar ways. The icons represent different objects in the economy or society, including policies, laws, voter groups, and values for important concepts such as health and education for education levels of our citizens. Click the next button. By the way, the resolution's expanded to 1080p, so that I can see everything on screen. Groups in the center of the screen represent groups of voters, with the color progress bars indicating how happy they are with our government. Like the Patriots really like us, the retired really like us, they really, 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 really like me. State employees really like me too. Liberals don't like me, trade unionists don't like me, parents hate me. Patriotic parents, maybe? One of the key concepts of Democracy 3 is to let's see, with the color progress. Okay, the light gray area behind the text shows the percentage of our electorate in each of these groups. Oh, so there aren't that many retired here. There are a lot of conservatives. There are, I guess it's like 2/3 conservative and 1/3 liberal. Not that many poor. Where else? Everyone's. That's the big long gray bar. You can barely see it, but it's completely full. Ethnic minorities, maybe 20%. There are more socialists than liberals. The country is 40% socialist and 65% conservative, based on this green bar here. Okay. One of the key concepts of Democracy 3 is to understand that individual voters can be members of many different voter groups at once, and the extent to which they identify with these groups is in itself variable. You will never get all of these voter groups to entirely approve of you. That's what you think. White icons are policies. Start the game with some already implemented. But most can be canceled and many more can be added. They can also be adjusted. Policies are the primary method you use to govern the country. Next. Blue icons represent statistical data relevant to your country. They concern abstract concepts such as GDP, gross domestic product, crime, or the educational levels of your citizens. They can affect statistical data only indirectly through policy decisions. Like the other icons, you will find them in different zones of the screen depending on which part of the economy or society they represent. Transport, tax, etc. Icons with red or green background are situations. These are ongoing events taking place in your country which may be going well, green, or badly, red. You can encourage good situations and prevent or fix bad ones by your policy choices. Next. Policies, data, and situations are interconnected through effects. Hovering your mouse over any one of the icons will show how influence flows between them, with green being a positive effect and red being negative. The speed and flow also shows the strength of the effect. Experiment with this, then hit next. For instance, look at the red ones. You want to take care of the red ones. Homelessness, that's a problem. You can see the green bars that affect this and the red ones that take away from it. So what increases homelessness? Well, the green arrows show that unemployment, property taxes, immigration, poverty all increase homelessness. What decreases homelessness? Let's see. Private housing decreases homelessness, apparently. Yeah, private housing decreases homelessness. As does an unemployment benefit. That decreases homelessness. In this game, homelessness negatively impacts... homelessness increases... what? The poor? How does that work? Oh, let me can't move this around, can I? Let me click on that. Okay, I can't click on it. So, what does it do? Okay, homelessness. The green arrow shows that homelessness increases crime. it decreases the poor? Not quite sure how this works. But see, if you see that fast-moving green line, unemployment really increases homelessness, and it really, 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 really increases the poor. Apparently, does it decrease crime slowly? Because it's a slow-moving green line. It's a slow-moving green arrow path. And it greatly increases the poor and slightly increases the middle income. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Okay. What else? What's this? Uncompetitive economy. Productivity greatly increases the uncompetitive economy, which decreases GDP a little bit. Corporate tax greatly increases. Well, it does increase a little bit the uncompetitive economy, and it slightly decreases capitalism apparently, which is, I guess that makes sense. So I guess a more competitive economy increases capitalism. Okay, what's this? Pollution. The environment greatly increases pollution or greatly decreases pollution. Okay, so positive effect. So a good environment greatly decreases the amount of pollution. Bad pollution also greatly, yes, okay, so the red shows the, okay, so green shows the positive effect, red shows the negative effect. So unemployment, so lowering unemployment lowers homelessness. Lowering the property tax lowers, so lowering unemployment will lower homelessness a lot. Lowering poverty will lower homelessness a lot. Homelessness will significantly increase the poor. Significantly. It's a very negative impact on the poor. A very negative impact on liberals, a very negative impact on middle incomes. So if you want to improve your standing with liberals, you gotta decrease homelessness. Because it is if you want to increase your standing with the poor, you gotta decrease homelessness a lot. Immigration is a positive impact on homelessness. Apparently, immigration improves homelessness. Reduction in poverty greatly reduces homelessness. And a reduction in homelessness greatly reduces crime. So that's what's going on with that. What's the deal with this uncompetitive economy thing? Productivity is a really negative drag on it, I guess. So I guess increased productivity makes the economy less competitive, I guess. Corporation tax makes the economy more competitive, so that's good. So I guess that makes something. Okay, pollution. A good environment greatly reduces pollution. And pollution can greatly decrease your effect on the environment. Greatly decreases your popularity with environmentalists. It also decreases tourism. Skills shortage. Well, if you want to improve the skills shortage, check out that green bar. You got to improve your tech. Education can really drag that down. So you got to reduce the education gap if you want to fix that skills shortage. Immigration is also a drag on the skills shortage, as you would expect. So got to see what you can do about managing that. Antisocial behavior is a serious problem in this country as of 2013. It's a major drag on tourism, and conservatives don't like it very much at all. In fact, your popularity among conservatives is going to go way, way down if antisocial behavior remains a problem. The police force apparently is a big, big problem. It makes antisocial behavior worse. Okay. Unemployment and alcohol consumption might lower antisocial behavior. I'm not sure how that works. Antisocial behavior can be a positive impact on crime. Curious how that works. What's this? Alcohol abuse. Okay, alcohol consumption greatly increases alcohol abuse. It also decreases antisocial behavior. Poverty and unemployment increase alcohol abuse. Alcohol abuse can lower crime, but also lowers health. It lowers crime about as much as it lowers health. That's interesting. So I wonder what the big problem is here. Is that illegal drug use? Yeah, drug addiction. It greatly increases crime. Well, not a lot, but a bit. Lowers productivity, as you would expect. And parents, yeah, it greatly decreases your popularity with parents. The state health service increases drug addiction? That's weird. The idea is that lowering poverty, lowering unemployment will reduce drug addiction. Next. Actually, let me check on something. What's this? Vigilante mobs are a serious problem. If you want to lower that, you gotta lower crime. You gotta lower crime. Vigilante mobs decrease your popularity with conservatives. You also decrease tourism. Racial tension greatly increases vigilante mobs. Reducing racial tension. So racial tension is a positive influence on vigilante mobs, as is crime. So crime is a very serious problem there. Death penalty is a very minor drag on vigilante mobs. It slightly reduces them, apparently. Okay, so you got to decrease crime. You got to decrease racial tension. What are the greens? Not a lot of green here. So our technological advantage is due to technology, which increases our GDP. Creationism versus evolution. Okay, that's a positive impact. Space program increases your technological advantage, and which increases your productivity. So if you want to increase your productivity, you want to increase your GDP, you got to increase your tech. So how are we doing on tech? Well, tech increases internet crime. That's apparently a problem right now. It also increases the skills shortage. So I wonder, what is is internet crime that big? Well, it's an issue, but it's not as big of an issue as I thought. What's this? Homelessness, okay. Skills gap. So the reds are the obvious problems. Next. Let's take a look at a specific group of voters and find out more about them. Click on the votership for middle-income voters. It represents about half the country, it looks like, based on that green bar. Yep, about 50% of the population. Neither poor nor wealthy, the average middle-income earner works most of his life to pay for his or her house. Probably can afford a good holiday each year and may own one or more cars. Middle-income earners are often very sensitive to changes in income tax. They usually make up a large portion of the voting population as well. Which is why everyone loves talking about the middle-income voters, right? Income tax is a major drag on them, as is homelessness. Property and inheritance taxes are a problem. So really, if you're trying to avoid the wrath of the middle-income voter, you're going to have to avoid increasing any of these if you can. Let's see. Happiness, membership, income. Can't see it. Highly trusting. Unhappy with government, though. Focus group. You're not allowed to focus on them yet. This area shows a list of different inputs to this voter group and how they make the group feel. Green effects are good and positive. Red effects are bad and negative. These effects may change over time as policy, situation, or values change. The sum of all these effects go towards determining how the group feels. Click on individual effect as a shortcut to seeing more information about that item. For instance, click on the effect showing the influence income tax has on our middle class voters. Click. And here we are at the detail screen for the income tax. You can do this for almost any effect between two items. The income tax is a policy, white icons. And this screen shows you shows the effects that policy is having. It's implemented entirely. So it hasn't been phased in, it's already there. Popular to voters, it's clearly not popular. But it's one of the most popular ways to raise money for government. It's not popular, really, but it's one of the most popular ways to raise money. Income tax is generally a progressive tax, and for this reason it is popular with socialists and the low paid. The middle income voters don't like it very much. People with high earnings don't like it very much, neither do people with middle and poor earnings. The wealthy apparently are neutral on it, which I thought was kind of amusing. But I guess their earnings aren't high because they aren't making money. They're just kind of sitting on the money they have. It increases equality because it's reasonably progressive. Socialists like it because it's reasonably progressive. Capitalists don't like it that much, as you would expect. You're not going to cancel the policy. Income history. Raise. You can spend capital. You can spend political capital to raise it, but the problem is that we need 30 political capital to raise it, and we can't. If we lower it, we can spend some political capital to lower it, or we can just cancel it outright. Income history. We're not going to be able to see that now. That's okay. Slider is used to control this specific policy. You can use it to adjust income tax up or down, which will change the effects it has on all the linked items, such as voter groups. Situation statistical data. Experiment the slider, then hit next. You can increase it a little bit. Lower it a little bit. Oh, you can see the bars above us. See that? See the bars above us? See, we raised the income tax to 85%. Middle income is not going to be happy with that. Socialists are going to like it, I guess. Yeah, socialists might like it. Which increases equality, but it's going to make the middle income pretty unhappy. So if you're going to raise it, you're going to have to target it a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. So we're not going to touch it for now. It costs no money to implement, apparently, which I think is amusing. Next. So we're not going to move it. We're just going to keep it where it is at 32%. Well, I thought it was at 31 earlier. Oh, well. Probably notice that the effects show two different values as we move the slider. The current darker effect and the effect of the slider at its new position. Why didn't move it that much? The values will move from where they are to the new position over time, based on inertia time, which is a number of turns, at the far right of each effect. So that's how long it takes for the impact. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is the number of turns of inertia in this effect. So if the underlying value has changed, this shows how many turns it will take before the effect has fully been felt. So it takes 4 quarters or an entire year for the effects on equality to be affected by any change in the income tax. That's cool. I actually kind of like that feature a lot because effects aren't immediate. They take time to go into effect, so I like that. Let's leave things as they are for now. Hit the Revert Changes button to indicate you want to leave this policy untouched, despite having adjusted the slider. Hit the Close button to return to the mini screen, or the main screen, sorry. Time to check out one of the situations that affect our country. Nothing over here, and I hope there's nothing underneath here, because I can't move this around, but that's okay. What's the biggest problem right now? Antisocial behavior, pollution, homelessness, skills gap, vigilante mobs. Yeah, this information shows them the selected situation. As you can see, the situations have both inputs on the left, which are the causes, and outputs, which are the effects. The inputs show the causes of the situation, and the outputs show the effects it has on other objects. You cannot change anything here. All you can do is see the various effects. So crime causes this. Police force will drag it down. The death penalty will drag it a little bit. Conservatives really don't like it. Tourists don't really like it that much. What does this say? Oh, conservatives are members of this mob. A few conservatives might join the vigilante mobs, which is somewhat amusing. Let's see. This is only leading to more disorder and more crime. Chart at the top of the screen shows the actual strength of the situation over time. And 2 triggers. However, the trigger is the value that actually triggers the situation is to take the effect. Okay. The higher trigger, the start trigger, is the value that actually triggers the situation to take effect. The lower trigger deactivates the situation. As a result, it's easier to trigger a situation than to end it. Next. So we triggered vigilante mobs. And we're not talking about Batman and Justice League either. Let's quit the situation. We'll look at some other data now. Hit the Close button. Let's take a look at the last type of icon, the statistical data. Click on any of the blue icons. How about GDP? This screen shows information on a national statistic, which in this case is GDP. Be aware that some statistical values are good things that we want high, like health, and other things are bad that we want low, such as crime. Be aware of some statistical values, yes. We want our GDP to go up at this point. And if it doesn't go up, if the GDP does not go up, we at least want crime to go down, and we want health to go up. You know, obvious stuff. So if GDP isn't going up, at least we want the other good things to go up. Or we want the bad things to go down if the GDP is not going up. So we want something. Sometimes the GDP going up will cause the bad things to go down. But we want something, we want the good things to go up. That's just how this game works. You want the good numbers to go up, you want the bad numbers to go down. This causes GDP, crime causes GDP to go down immediately. Let's see, corporation taxes cause GDP to go down eventually. Effects. These are immediate. Bus usage, oh, this is interesting, got a lot of these. Science funding causes this to go up eventually, as do small business grants. We're just going to nibble away. We're not going to do anything really big, obviously. I can't really move this around. Next. There's nothing we can change here, so let's hit the close button and go back to the main screen. Pay attention to the political capital up here. See the screen moved over here. This is political support, which represents the amount of support your government has to get things done. You have a limited amount of political capital per turn. Each turn is a quarter of a year. When you run out, you need to end the turn to get more. Some political capital can be carried over to the next turn, but not all. Next. Political capital is used when you adjust policies, cancel them, or introduce new ones. Different policies require different amounts depending on how controversial they are. Like, raising the income tax is very controversial. I don't have enough political capital to raise the income tax. I have more than enough capital to lower it, and I have plenty of capital to just eliminate it outright. Okay, it's time to see how to create a new policy. Click the new policy button. Let's see, these are new policies put forward by your ministers. These policies are divided into categories seen as tabs at the top. Details, select a policy are on the right. Those in red cannot currently be implemented due to a lack of political capital, like national service. Let's see, select a policy, then hit the implement button. Well, we can implement an import tariff. Import tariffs will protect local manufacturers from unfair competition. This does go against free market economics, though, and can be seen as being unfair to foreign countries, possibly sparking retaliation. Don't be absurd. Why would anyone be mad at us for implementing tariffs? Let's see. Popularity with voters. Estimated popularity with voters. Voters love tariffs. TERFs. Child benefits. Fixed payment made by the state directly to parents to assist in the cost of bringing up children. Popular with parents for obvious reasons, and the poor see it as a redistributive tax, but capitalists are opposed to such an unnecessary level of interference by government. It costs money, of course. Disability benefit. So they want me to actually implement something. It's a disability benefit. Not very popular. State housing. Very popular. And expensive. Welfare fraud department is very popular. When government gives so much money out in welfare programs, it's essential that the money is correctly targeted and not exploited by people making spurious claims. Potential income. You're going to be spending a lot of money for not much income. Dedicated fraud department will detect false claimants, recover lost money, and reassure middle-income taxpayers that their taxes are being spent wisely, although it can antagonize legitimate claimants. Winter fuel subsidies, not very popular. Rent controls are somewhat popular. Economy, agricultural subsidies, not somewhat popular. Ban Sunday shopping. Rural development grants, very popular. Oil drilling subsidies. This will indirectly reduce fuel prices and stimulate the economy, but will be an outrage to environmentalists. Robotic research grants are not popular. No. Foreign investors tax breaks, not popular at all. Helps to encourage investment from overseas, but we see as incredibly unpatriotic and pandering to the whims of huge foreign capitalist organizations. Work safety law, rather popular. Tax shelters, not that popular. Recycling is very popular. Organic farming subsidies. Maternity leave, costs nothing, very popular. It could be argued that this encourages employers not to employ women. What about parental leave? Consumer rights. Clean energy subsidies. Tax. Potential income. Not the graduate tax. purely on people graduating from university as a way of them contributing to the cost of their university tuition. Support status is fair because everyone benefits from university education. Supports already creates the incentive of studying purely academic subjects in the arts, as well as penalizing ambition. Luxury goods tax. Married tax allowance. Oh, it's a tax break for married couples. Very popular, of course. Microgeneration grants. Very popular. Plastic bag tax. Not very popular. Junk food. Wait. It costs money, and it may make some money. We'll see how it goes. Junk food tax. Not popular. Health food subsidies. Health tax credits. School tax credits. Enterprise investment scheme. What? Tax breaks to wealthy individuals who invest their money in small startup companies which are based in this country. The scheme, as popular as it is, at 97%, encourages investment companies which should eventually grow and stimulate the economy while at the same time giving a popular tax break to people who invest in them. Obviously, indirectly, the scheme is being subsidized by those without savings to invest. Recreational drugs tax. Not popular. No potential income. Wow. Adult education subsidies, free eye tests, free school meals, organ donation. The what? Sadly, many people not getting something. It was to increase it. Wait, what? An opt-out policy is best. Consent for donation assumed unless otherwise stated. Wait, what? Anyway. Public libraries. Very popular. University grants. Youth club subsidies. Art subsidies. Healthcare vouchers. Law and order. Community policing. I'm probably going to do this one. Should greatly reduce crime. With the working with the community rather than attempting to control it, community policing encourages the police to better understand the needs of the local community, especially in areas with ethnic minorities. Correct see it as an expensive waste of money, which could be spent on more direct methods to cut crime. I've done this before, and it has worked. But it costs money, as you would expect. Legalize prostitution. Not very popular. Wait just a second. People really like community policing. Tasers. 4% popularity. Police drones. Transport. Bus lanes. Bus subsidies. Car emission limits. Clean fuel subsidies. Popular. Free bus passes. National monorail. Sing it with me. No, I'm not going to sing it. You know the song. Telecommuting initiative. Popular and somewhat expensive. Toll roads. Raise money. This is a great example of... Oh, it's going to use up all my political capital. It's a great example of directly applying market forces by only charging those who use a particular route for construction and the maintenance of that route. Voters tend to see this as just a form of taxation, whereas commuters appreciate not being charged for routes they seldom use. Fuel efficiency standards. So what's cheap? Where's the community policing? Cheap, well, in terms of political capital, cheap and popular. What about taxes? Luxury goods tax. Expensive, but profitable. Plastic bag tax. Yeah, I might end up doing that. Microgeneration grants on it. We'll save that for later. We have a longer list here. I can't. Yeah, there we go. It's a longer list. We can't implement any of this other crap. Okay, so let's get crime under control with some community policing. It'll be something simple we can try. Working with the community rather than attempting to control it, community policing encourages police to better understand the needs of the local community. That increases antisocial behavior, increases alcohol abuse, or decreases antisocial behavior and alcohol abuse, but it'll take a year to implement. Increases our popularity with liberalism in 2 years. So by the time the next election rolls around, we'll be a bit more popular with the liberals. Same here. It will increase our, let me put it this way, it will increase our popularity among the liberals immediately, and it will increase the number of people who become liberal. It will decrease crime in a year, decrease violent crime in a year, decrease racial tension in a year, slightly decrease unemployment, very slightly, immediately. You chose to implement. This is the new policy you chose to implement. You can adjust the slider on new policies for free without using up political capital. Be aware that some policies take time to implement, which means it will take a while before they're fully operational. For now, let's go back to the main screen at the close button. Okay. You can also see who's going to implement this policy, Helen Jones. There's much more to she, but we shall come to that later. Once you have finished what you can do or want to do a quarter, it's time to end the turn. Hit the end turn at the top right, mark next. We didn't do anything. I tried to implement a policy, but we didn't do anything. Lining up retirement directorships, fiddling ministerial expenses, misinforming the electorate, appointing friends to top jobs. You know, draining the swamp. This is the quarterly report. It highlights some key indicators which impact upon the current state of the country. Plus, there may be other information you may need to be aware of. Urgent dilemmas may appear that need your attention this quarter. Anyway, I see you have a lot to attend to, so I'll let you get to work. I'm sure the government is in safe hands now. Here's the report. Fine, put the tutorial. Here's a summary of the current state of the union. GDP, meh. Health. So crime is a serious problem, as is health. Unemployment's gonna be a very big problem. Poverty needs to be reduced. We'll get to that. Debt protection laws, urgent policy question that requires your immediate attention. Debt collection agencies have been in the news because of the aggressive methods they are using to extract. Okay, let me go back a bit. We'll start over here in a second. We'll stop the video here.